If somebody wanted to become a SEAL and they asked me what the top 3 things that they needed to know, do, or be to make it through training, I mean, the first one's the obvious one: don't quit. But when I say don't quit, I mean that more like a mindset. I don't mean don't quit like, oh, be a hard charger, never quit, never give up. I mean, understand that SEAL training is one of those situations where if you don't quit, you win. And what I mean by that is life isn't like that. You know, when I left the teams in 2008, the economy was really bad, really tough time to become an entrepreneur. And you could work as hard as you want, you could do everything you're supposed to do and still fail in business, still struggle. But in SEAL training, if you're there, if you have the opportunity to be there, if you got yourself in the door and you got issued your camis and your gear to start training, all you need to do is not quit. If you don't quit, you win. So that'd be the first piece of advice I'd give somebody is, of course, don't quit, but understand the opportunity and the situation you're in and how valuable and meaningful it is to be in a place where you'll win if you just keep going every day. So the second piece of advice I'd give somebody, and again, these are kind of obvious, but is to train. So you need to train, and I don't mean necessarily train to get your run times really fast or get all the pull-ups in the world done that you need to get done. Yes, you do need to hit those numbers, but I mean train. Spend time on your feet, spend hours a day doing it over and over again, because you're not training just to be physically strong. They say in SEAL training it's 90% mental and only 10% physical, and that's true. So when I say train, I mean train your mind as well as your body. Go out there, spend the hours, and produce a situation where you enjoy the misery, if that makes sense. So inside of, there's a chapter in the book I just wrote that talks about if you don't mind, it doesn't matter. And that's not necessarily about just enduring pain and taking the pain. That's how everyone thinks about SEAL training, and that is part of it. You need to be able to self-regulate and endure discomfort and things like that, but train yourself to enjoy it. Train it to be like you, to spend the day running, to be like you, to spend the day in the water, so that way when you're in training, it can go on forever and it won't ever matter. So of course, train your body, but train your brain to enjoy that kind of training, that kind of activity. Because if you need to muscle your way through mentally every day, you're gonna wear out. We only have a certain amount of willpower inside of us, and if you tap it out every single day, it's gonna be a miserable situation. But if you train your mind and your body so that it can tolerate and take the training, but also at the same time enjoy it and thrive in it, you're gonna have not only a much better time, but you're going to be successful and you're gonna be able to help others and lead others through training as well. So the third piece of advice I'd give somebody is to take care of yourself. Becoming a SEAL is all about passing through adversity. So you're gonna get injuries, you'll get hurt. Even when you're training to become a SEAL, these things are gonna happen. You know, I got ITB, it's a kind of tendonitis in the knee, and it feels like somebody's sticking a sharp, hot poker right in the side of your knee. I had it before SEAL training, so I had to go to a physical therapist to get custom orthotics, and I took it very seriously. And like I said, I was a medic, so that was a bit of my world, but I had to start rehabbing and finding the things that would get injured on me prior to, so that I can rehab them and get them all set. And then when I was in training, you know, I got Achilles tendonitis so bad that you can almost hear, if I move my ankle back and forth, you can almost hear it rubbing, and you can certainly feel it. So I could feel it and feel like wet rubber bands. Every night I'd have to do ice massage, contrast baths, stretches, hydration, all kinds of stuff, because if you don't get those injuries handled, they're gonna overtake you. When I coach and train people who are working to do something that's kind of beyond themselves, that's gonna be very difficult, you notice the subtlety that people sometimes will allow themselves to get hurt. It's a very subtle form of quitting. So you'll see that in SEAL training. You'll see somebody get hurt, and I was a corpsman, I was a medic, And I had all the medicines and all the things to help the students there. And some guys would take the rehab seriously and rehabilitate their injuries so that they can continue, but some guys wouldn't. And I didn't notice it at the time, but since now having studied human performance for so much time, when the people don't take care of themselves, and you see it in business as well, you see it all over the place, people will actually drive themselves into the ground so that the pain will end. So probably, let me say that again. So I would say of all the advice, taking care of yourself, not to be selfish and like making sure you're okay, but take care of yourself so you can continue to train is probably one of the most important things you can do. And recognize that when you don't take care of yourself and you try to run yourself into the ground, it's a very subtle form of quitting. It's almost your psychology trying to figure out a way that you can quit without saying I quit. So my third and most important piece of advice for making it through SEAL training is to take care of yourself and make sure you're an operational unit the whole way through.